Here's a more defeat the human race. They defeat the human race. This type of living defeats the human race. Defeats the right to be human. Defeats the right to be a human being. Defeats peace. Defeats poverty. Defeats death. Defeats torture. Rape. Molestation. Killing. Bombing. Slaughtering human life. As long as these actions goes on, the world will never know what it's like to have world peace. You can't have world peace by making war. You can't have world peace with dictators in power. This is the true thing in life. This is a reality field. Dictators bring terrorism. They bring death. They bring killing. They bring the killing of innocents. That's what dictators are. They're not normal people. They dictate to nations what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do, why they're supposed to do. You have religious control. And religious control is so deep that somebody will put a bomb on their back and walk into a place and explode on a bunch of innocent human beings just sitting doing working, eating lunch, walking down the street. You got car bombs. As long as the world is at war with each other, you can't ever find peace. You can't find peace through the diplomacy of war. Find peace through the diplomacy of peace. Agreeing to disagree. Let each nation change. Each nation has to change on its own. You can't force it to change. You can't force Syria to change any more than we could force Iraq to change. They're religiously controlled nations. They're closely religiously controlled nations. This is a frightening part of the world. It's a frightening part of life. That dictators and wars defeat the human race. They just defeat the human race. They defeat the right to be a human being. They defeat the right to be a person. They defeat the right to be an individual. They defeat the right to be a human being. They defeat the right to be a man, woman, or child. They stop the living, start the dying. They stop the eating, start the starving. That's the truth of human life. That's what all these shows are about, man. That's what all these news are about. It's the war and death of our race. It is our race. It's all our races. It's all races. It's all our race. It's all the human race. If people ever learn to understand that, maybe we can find some peace. Maybe we can find some quiet. Maybe we can find some life. Each individual needs its own space, its own way to live, its own right to think, its own right to breathe, its own right to freedom of speech. People can agree to disagree. People may not agree with it, but it's a way to peace. Just agreeing to disagree. The world will never know this until they try it. The world will never know this until they try it. Agree just to disagree. And you bring peace to the world. Bring peace to humanity. But first you have to agree to disagree. And don't worry about it. Each nation has its own poverty, has its own wars, has its own dictators, has its own tribal leaders, has its own religious leaders. That's the truth of human life. And all this rolled up in one big ball feeds a whole wild world, a whole world of war. A whole world of war. I'm a proponent of peace and diplomacy and war. You need to put the human race back at the top of the care chain in this world. You need to put the human race back at the top of the care chain in this world. That's the human truth. That's the human fact. That's the human life. That's the human reality of it all. We all need peace. We all need quiet. We all need to live in this world. We all need to live together in this world. We all need to live with each other in this world. But until peace and diplomacy become part of it, become the head of it, until the value of human life becomes more than the value of human war, because it never ends. It never ends. Just keeps on coming, just keeps on coming, keeps on coming. Now finally, is there going to be another coup there? I don't know. I don't know. All I do is cover the news. I can't predict it. But the same thing's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Same thing's going on all over the world. The Middle East is covered with dictators, warlords, tribal leaders. Africa, people that just destroy and kill and mutilate human life just for the sheer ability to do it. Syria, you're defeating nations. You're defeating the human race. Till the human race bonds and binds together and heals together, will it ever come? It means all people have to be part of the solution. It means all people have to be part of the human race. It means all people have to think as the human race. Human rights, human freedom, human freedoms of speech, human freedoms of life, human needs of life. This is the only way it's going to stop. This is the only way it's going to stop. When the human race gets tired, when the human race gets sick, burying their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, in war after war after war after war after war. That's the human truth. That's the human fact. That's the human life. That's the human reality as it is. Excuse me. That's the only way you're going to bring peace to the world. You can't bring peace to the world where you have dictators and religious police, religious control, and control of people's lives, man, woman, or child. Can't ever happen. Because people always be bucking. People always be fighting against it. Because the human will is born to be free, born to live, born to survive, born to enjoy. Every human being has the same feelings, the same thoughts, same needs, same cares. Well, not the same thoughts, but the same needs, same cares, same needs. And that's the truth of human life. That's the only way you're going to bring peace. I'm a peace diplomat, man. I believe the world can come to peace. We need to come together as the human race first. We need to come together as the human race in all nations. In all nations. As one voice, as one view, as one care. And when that day comes, the world will hear a voice so loud that we'll have to start to think about peace. We'll have to start to think about diplomacy. Because people will put down the guns and pick up the internet. And when that day comes, the world will be a whole lot safer place. And that's the human truth. That's the human fact. That's the human life. It's the only road to peace through diplomacy. The only road through diplomacy is to stop the wars, get rid of the dictators, and bring the human race together. Till the human race as a whole gets sick of burying its families. Year after year, decade after decade, century after century, the wars will continue. And it will go on and go on and go on and go on. They'll never stop. The killing, the butchering, the rape, the torture, the hunger, the poverty, all that sets against the human race. It's fed by war, dictators, and other people. People you can rule their nations with armies. You can't do it that way. You cannot live that way. You cannot live peacefully that way. People want their freedoms. People who give power to one dictator are wrong. Are always going to be wrong. Because it kills, it mutilates, it starves. It's too much power for one person. It's just too much power for one person. That's the human truth. That's the human reality. That's the human fact. And I'll say it in every video till the day I die. Until the human race, until all of us get sick of being proponents of war, proponents of poverty, proponents of starvation, proponents of theft, of stock schemes, of fraud, of dictators, warlords, of tribal leaders, of religious leaders, and start living as the human race. Will it ever come? That day will come, though. Believe me, that day will come. This is the 7th day in Human Being News. The show's called Dictators and War Defeat the Human Race. And they do. They do. They defeat the human race.